the funny thing about me, and I hope this never changes. One never knows, right? You can't predict the future. I have never been hyper attached to social media. I've never been hyper attached to it. I'm actually not even hyper attached to my phone.
When I was 10, I asked for an agent for my birthday. And my dad said, "You're too fat and you have no self-control. So you would probably end up dead in a gutter, doped up on heroin."
Sun is coming up, are you ready to go? We can take it right, we can take it slow. Yeah.
Welcome back to the road. We are joined today by Joel Correa.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate you so much.
Oh, no, we appreciate you so much and all of the magic that's going to go down on this call. So basically, I believe that self-love is the devotion to your individuality. You know, what makes you you. And I think it's really powerful and important to allow my guests to share who they are, what's important to them, and how they want to be known by the people.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Who I am, I'm a person that I'm a Philly boy. I'm an easygoing boy that just like literally loves to be creative, and I love to empower, and I love to be empowered, and feel empowered. So, mental illness was something that I've struggled with throughout my life. So it was something that as I've gotten older, I've observed a bit more and took more of a backseat approach and kind of like that third person perspective. And then it just kind of blossomed into me just wanting to like reaffirm people that like I would see myself, I would see my plight and stuff that people would go through. And naturally, it just kind of became fuel to just think a lot about life and how to empower people and be more creative and step outside the box and all that good stuff.
So what would you say to the person who like knows that they want to dip their toe into something, but they're just scared because those shoulds are running around their head, or they're worried about what other people are going to think? Like, what pushed you to just do it?
I would say that, like, honestly, for me, it was like my patience had waned thin on the tolerance I had to not do what I wanted to do. Like, it was almost like every time I would want to do it, but didn't do it. It was like, I would just feel that pang of disappointment and almost like I was letting some part of myself down. You know what I mean? And the older you get, like each day, each year that passes, you almost become more aware of time, more aware of how little you have of it, and more aware of how much you've wasted worrying about things that don't matter. And so that's where kind of like that nerve comes from that I was talking about. Like, you start to not care about I think it's also like this element of you thinking that you have more to lose than you really do. I think a lot of us really think and make a mountain out of a molehill and think that we're going to lose everything if we fail at this thing that we like. And it's like, not really. I mean, I literally failed for longer than I've been successful at makeup. If we're being honest, I literally have had years of being unsuccessful at makeup before the last year and a half, 2 years have suddenly been fruitful. Like, you know what I mean? So if I had allowed myself to be for those, even that year or two, to allow that to define this whole journey for me, then I would have been lost in this moment. No, like, and it's crazy to hear women who have been doing makeup their whole lives, men who have been doing makeup their whole lives, certified makeup artists all tell me, I've learned something from you, or I took away something, a technique or whatever. And I'm like, that's crazy. Because to me, it was just experimentation and trial and error and success and failure. So yeah, I mean, I think that just kind of happens little by little by that. You just have less patience for putting up with not honoring yourself. At least for me, it was like that. So I would encourage anybody to just not allow time to waste in that capacity, if that makes sense.
Oh my goodness, it makes so much sense, and really grateful for that. I really enjoyed that, what you said, and it makes like this whole concept of giving ourselves permission to look at our life and be like, well, what's going to bring me the most joy, and just do it. Just do it.
Absolutely.
So basically, as you're journeying through this and you're rapidly growing on TikTok and you've reignited your YouTube and you're seeing all these things happen for you, like, what have you had a moment? Because what I notice about TikTok, it's like, it's rapid, right? Like, I just recently started investing time in TikTok and went from like 300 followers to now I have like 12,000 followers. It's very quick, right? So lots of eyes on you. Like, have you had an opportunity to sit with that and also like navigate what you actually want?
Yes, that's a really good question. That's actually been something that's been like on the plate a lot recently. Have I had a chance? Your first part of the question, have I had a chance to digest it? So the funny thing about me, and I hope this never changes. One never knows, right? You can't predict the future. I have never been hyper attached to social media. I've never been hyper attached to it. I'm actually not even hyper attached to my phone. I am infamous amongst my friends for like, we go out to the club, like we were all pre-gaming at a person's apartment, and I left my phone at the apartment because I'm just not concerned with my phone to that extent. So I think, and I pray that I never change in that realm, because even though it's grown, the one thing that I'm like, I don't know if you're a Gaga fan. Gaga used to say, like, she used to be super obsessed with pop culture, and she would almost like academically study it. Like, she would really just like dive in and see people's obsession, the ebb and flow of fame and how that all works. I have to say, she was the only other person I ever heard speak about pop culture the way that I speak about pop culture. Genuinely, I'm not obsessed with it in terms of like, I won't remember key dates and key event, like things like that. But I have just been very observant about how people treat the landscape of influencership and celebrity and things like that. So the fast growth element, while it is kind of scary to think like, okay, I have like a small nation of people that are literally subscribed to my content. That's scary to think. I know this sounds kind of weird, and I don't want this to sound like disassociative or condescending, but like, I also just don't care. It's this thing where that's great. I am blessed beyond belief. I have cried with my followers on lives. Like, it's a thing where they know they mean the world to me. But at the same time, if you had to be taken away from me, I can't be crushed like that either. It's this thing where I have to have a very pragmatic approach to this, to all of this. And I have to be very, level-headed about it. And where do I want it to go? I want it to grow. I want to cut my own paychecks. I don't want to have to work in an office for people's paychecks anymore. I would love to cut my own. I'd love to hire women and people of color, like, to be my payroll, period. I want that to be that's what my main demographic for, these are all pipeline dreams, and that's all fantastic. And I would love to believe that my spirit and my heart will get me there. It won't. Obviously, some labor is involved in that, but yeah, I think that there's just a part of me that's never going to be defined by the social media age.
What belief about myself is holding me back the most?
Did you want to go first?
So sure, I'll go first.
Go ahead.
Well, let's see. I'm really navigating through this belief right now, but the belief that that I'm not worthy of being seen in a massive capacity is like something that is not serving me at all. When I was very, very little, like ever since I was like too little to know what being famous is, like I was like, I want to be on TV. I want to be famous. I want to change the world just by being me. Before reality TV was a thing, I was like, I need a reality TV show. I was like 2 years old. I was like, let's do it. And that's why I like really enjoy just having the show and all this kind of stuff. But when I was 10, I asked for an agent for my birthday. And my dad said, you're too fat and you have no self-control. So you would probably end up dead in a gutter, doped up on heroin or OD'd on heroin. So we're not going to do that for you. And in his mind, he was just protecting me. He tells me now, he's like, I just wanted you to have a great childhood. I was like, you ruined me, Dad.
Yikes, man.
So that's my trauma, which I think is another buzzword right now, which we talk a lot about on my TikTok. But like when it comes to this journey, I'm releasing that because those stories no longer serve me. And I'm really, really, really ready to magnetize the opportunities to be seen on a large platform, because I think the work that I'm doing is the work that everyone needs and isn't aware that they need. What about you?
It's kind of similar to you. I actually more so though. So I struggle and this is my biggest hurdle right now. And I'm still working through it. Is that I feel myself unworthy of romantic love. So I was in two like long-term relationships. I was in 2 5-year relationships back to back, which in the gay male world is like, those are 2 separate marriages and divorces. Let's be real. And yeah, like to me, after the second one, I kind of felt like my identity was I felt like a toddler had gone into my filing cabinet of emotions and just rearranged everything. I felt like I had to just start from the beginning and then work my way back. And so, yeah, I think right now my biggest hurdle is that when something good comes along romantically, I have a hard time feeling like I am worthy of this good thing that I feel happening to me. That is so tough. That is so tough because it's a very layered issue for me. It's not just about, your 2 relationships. It's also about like growing up and being made fun of for my skin color in a predominantly white neighborhood. And, these are things that like, they just linger, man. Like I'm literally 32 and I feel like I'm still shaking the momentum of my teenage nightmares, and
amazing. And if there was one parting thing that you could share with this audience, what would it be?
That I'm proud of y'all and I love you. No matter where you feel like you're at in your journey, I'm just proud of you. I don't know if you've heard it. I don't know if someone's told you it recently, but I'm proud of you and I love you.
We love you. Oh, well, Joel, this has been such a gift. And just remember, you are worth it. You deserve it. And you are not alone. We'll see you next time. Bye.